Hi everyone, so today I'm going to share with you some tips I have for college students, whether you're going into it this year or you're already a college student right now. So this is just tips that I learned or things that I learned during my college experience and especially in my undergrad. And if I wish I knew when I was going into it and stuff like I knew sooner when I was taking some of these classes or just being in college in general. So the first thing I would have to say is know your resources. The most important thing about school is being resourceful. So this can be not buying the books all the time or knowing that your books are actually in the library. Sometimes your professors will put the books on reserve, and if that's the case, and if you can actually do that, I would recommend going to the library and reading the book rather than buying it. Your library has so much information and so many books that can supplement your reading. So say that it's like a 13th edition of a book. They most likely have the 12th or sooner version that came before this edition, and so honestly they don't really change the books very often, so it's not so much they don't change it very often, it's just that they change such minor details that they just want to resell you a brand new book, and it's just expensive. And trust me, you want more money in your pocket than out of your pocket. For most campuses have gyms at your school. I would not recommend buying a separate membership aside from the one that they offer you at school. You already are paying it in your fees, so you might as well take advantage of it and use the gym there instead of buying an additional gym pass to another place. If you have a lab class, take advantage of those classes because you are paying for printing. So if you need to print anything, use that time or use that class to be able to print all your resources, so that way you don't have to print it at home. And I mean, not that you don't have to print it at home, but you, like I said, you pay for that in your courses. And also, like say you needed to print something from the library, they usually charge you 10 to 15 cents. Printing things in the lab will save you so much money. Also, did you know your student ID is like the perfect way to get like great perks? So I know a lot of places or restaurants that give you a free drink if you're a student. So just present them your student ID and they will give it to you. I didn't know that until like just now, and I've been in school for like, this will be my 6th year, but that's beside the point because I'm in grad school. Anyway, yeah, just know what places take student ID. I always ask like the movie theater or like would I buy tickets anywhere, like do you guys take student ID, because you will save a lot of money in the long run by using it, because there's just like minor discounts, but it's great savings. So as I was saying with reading the books, you don't always have to read them. And I'm not saying like don't read it because like it's a waste of your time, but usually professors are pretty thorough, and even though they say, oh, they recommend to read the book, most of the time they give you all the information that you will ever need for an exam. Or the only times that I would recommend personally buying the book is if it came with like Wiley Plus or some kind of like program that allows you to do some kind of work for the class in addition to the book. In that case, you kind of have to do it because you need to refer back and forth to it, or you need the program. You're gonna have to buy some variation of the book in order to work with the program. Also, if you have to like work in class with the book, then I would definitely recommend buying it. Or if you're taking an in-class exam. And like I said, if the library provides you with older versions of a book, you could also use older versions of the book in class. So I've done that multiple times where I've had older books and I would bring it to class for my in-class exam and it would work fine. And I mean, there's only probably about a good handful of classes where I actually like read the book religiously because it was necessary or because they had some information that was of the essence. And sometimes renting the book, if it comes down to it, is the better option. Honestly, you're not gonna read these books again. And as I said, they come out with new editions anyway, so they're kind of outdated to whatever degree that it may be, whether it be a minor change. So buying them is not your best option, and if you're gonna sell them back, it's just a pain in the ass. So if you just rent them, then you could send it back and it's a done deal. I would highly recommend Chegg for renting books if you do decide to do this. My tip number 3, definitely know all your classes before you get into like your first year and even throughout your entire college life. So one thing that I didn't know is that in order for your AP classes to transfer, you had to take it to the records office. And so that really sucked because I ended up taking some classes that I didn't need to take. And I could have saved a lot of money by not having to, take those classes. And I would have saved me time and I would have been able to try other classes or just, take an easier workload. And I'm not saying that college is not like an exploratory time to just decide what you want to do in life, but it's kind of easier when you know exactly what you want to do. Because when you're jumping around from classes to classes, you're wasting time doing one thing and then you decide you want to do another, and then you're just in college for just a really long time. For example, I added a computer science minor. And so I was taking some of the classes and then I got into it more and I realized, this isn't for me. Unfortunately, I would love to still get into computer science, but it just wasn't something that I was ready to grasp. And I would still try to learn it, but it just wasn't in the cards for me, and it wasn't something that was feasible within the time span that I wanted to graduate. And so I was able to understand, or not so much understand, but I was able to compromise with myself, it's not something that I really need to have under my belt, so I'm gonna try to finish school first before I try to get more into this, and something that I could actually handle. So that wasn't something that I could actually handle, so that's why I ended up dropping the minor. But my point is, when you have that type of thing, when you add and drop things, it costs money to do all this. I don't know if it is the same thing for your schools or what kind of policies you have, but just to add a minor is like $4 at least. Like I said, my school prices vary across campuses and all this other stuff, and it's just a pain in the butt. So like I said, know what you're going into. Declare as soon as you know, because once you want to change it, you have to pay for that. And even with the AP classes, like I said, know which classes can be equate to those, and so you don't have to retake them or waste money doing it. And what I also mean get your classes straight is know your options before you enroll for classes. I literally went through all the potential classes I could possibly take for the next quarter. I wrote them all down, and I was like, okay, I have the option to take this, this, and this. And then I narrowed it down further to just wanting to go Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that way, I don't have to spend a lot of money driving back and forth to campus. I know I spend all day on campus, but it was really a great type of thing. It's like going to work only twice a week. And so when you have all of those things laid out for you, you kind of have options. And so when you're on your game in terms of knowing what classes you want to take, it's so much easier to go into your enrolling process and determine what classes you want to take. And just being aware of whatever kind of report that they give you in terms of what classes you've taken is really helpful, because that way you can help better plan what you need to do. But that way you can graduate on time, and you're not waiting for the last minute to take this class. So my next tip is definitely to ask questions. When you don't know something, ask away. It's not like they're gonna treat you like you're stupid or anything, and it may come off that way, or you may conceive it that way, but it's better to ask than not know at all. Because if you don't have any clarification on what is going on in the class, or what is going on in terms of maybe your financial aid, or in terms of your whatever kind of hold or any kind of issue you have, you need to ask questions. And if you don't get it resolved, then you're going to have all these other issues that may arise if you don't resolve it in the beginning. And so going back to the whole idea of asking questions in class, this whole thing is, speak when you're afraid. Make a presence in class, because it's better to speak things out, because sometimes, I don't know, I can't really say this for myself, because I'm a very introverted person and I like to, process things in my own head before I speak it out loud. But for some people, it helps them to verbalize it, and so even if they're wrong, they can correct it in their mind and make it, a better learning experience. If you make a presence in class, sometimes the professor will recognize you, and sometimes it may come up to your benefit. And I'm not saying that I'm criticizing professors for playing favorites, but it's definitely more memorable in their mind when they remember your name when it comes to grading your test. And it might be beneficial if you're that one hair of a 0.1% off that will bring you up to the next grade. You never know what can help. And with that being said, take advantage of all your extra credit opportunities, especially because they are so rare as it is. And college, they say, is a lot different from high school in terms of the way the structure of the courses are and choosing your times and all that stuff. But having extra credit opportunities and turning in late work is not something that is very prevalent in college life. So as I said, if you're given that opportunity, seize it. And so for my last tip, I would have to say is to be open-minded. It is the most important thing to be open-minded during all these classes, because you never know what will challenge your beliefs or help you reestablish what you already believe in. I'm not saying that you need to change your beliefs just to, you know, fit in with the college lifestyle, but it's definitely important to be open-minded because you never know what may change or what may come up in your learning experience. And it's a lot of things that you may not have been aware of, or you have been aware of, you just didn't know what they were. And to be closed-minded is to not go forward in your college experience, and you won't learn if you don't keep your mind open, or if you aren't open to new beliefs or different perspectives on certain topics, because then you're only hindering your learning experience, and it's just harder to understand things, I guess you could say. But you know, always hold strong to your beliefs, but definitely welcome other people's ideas as well, because that's what college is all about, is bringing all these ideas together in one place, and it's just a great way to share ideas and to learn from other people. So I hope you guys find that helpful. I know it's very vague and very specific at the same time, but it's definitely helpful to keep these ideas in mind. And all I can say is be prepared, be on time, be respectful of other people, and you will have a great time in college. I hope you guys are all well, and I will see you all soon. Bye.